And the crypto world is absolutely buzzing over a viral post on X that completely reshapes how we look at long-term wealth. We are seeing a massive shift in market sentiment. While the average retail investor is panicking over everyday market noise, people are starting to independently realize that the global financial system is heading toward a massive breaking point. A prominent crypto enthusiast on X, Remi Relief, says here some will become XRP millionaires, others billionaires. Recently, he outlined an incredibly bullish long term outlook that is turning heads across the entire community. We are talking about price levels between $1,200 and $1,700 becoming a realistic destination. But it doesn't stop there. There is an even more aggressive crisis scenario being discussed where XRP could hit a staggering $10,000 during a major economic downturn. Is this just ultimate hopium, or is there a structural reality where a global financial crisis forces the world to rely on the XRP ledger for survival? So in this video, we are breaking down this exact roadmap, looking at why some holders will become millionaires while others become billionaires, and discussing the critical mistake that could cause you to lose it all. So let's get right into the data. Our first question right here is, why is $1,200 to $1,700 suddenly being discussed as a realistic destination? Okay, let's highlight this part. To understand these massive price targets, we have to stop thinking about crypto as just a regular trading asset. The post right here, shared by Remi Relief, highlights that the true value of XRP is unlocked when it transitions fully into a global settlement asset. When you look at the sheer volume of international cross-border payments, the numbers are astronomical. Trillions of dollars move across the world daily. For XRP to act as the primary bridge currency for global banking liquidity, the price mathematically has to be high. If the price remains low, there simply is not enough liquidity on the ledger to handle multi-billion-dollar bank transfers instantly. This is why the target of $1,200 to $1,700 is not just a random number pulled out of a hat. It represents a reality where the asset is fully integrated into international compliant financial infrastructure. Depending on how many tokens you hold and when you position yourself in this market, this valuation tier is exactly what separates the future millionaires from the future billionaires. So, can a global economic collapse actually push XRP to $10,000? So let's just highlight this part. All right. Now let's discuss the most extreme scenario in this viral post. XRP hitting $10,000. This hyper bullish target is specifically tied to broader macroeconomic stress and global systemic failure. The theory is that a massive economic downturn will expose the deep flaws in traditional fiat banking infrastructure. When banks begin to struggle and international liquidity dries up during a crisis, global financial systems will increasingly depend on the XRP ledger for settlement and liquidity support. It becomes a tool of necessity, not just an alternative. During an economic emergency, speed and cost efficiency are everything. If the legacy banking systems fail to move capital securely across borders, a high volume, instant settlement network is the only logical solution. In a scenario where global liquidity relies entirely on a digital bridge currency, a $10,000 price target reflects the massive weight of the world's wealth moving into a single ledger. Right? So our next question is, what is the critical July 14th timeline we need to watch? Right? Let's just highlight this part. The post on X also drop a very specific timeline that the community is tracking closely. Remi Relief associated a major acceleration in market activity with regulatory or structural clarity arriving around July 4th, with a strong possibility that key developments could even occur earlier than expected. To make things even more interesting, the macro outlook suggests that a broader, synchronized economic crash could hit around the year 2027, perfectly aligning with political and election cycles in the United States. When you combine a summer timeline for structural clarity with a looming macroeconomic disruption by 2027, it creates a perfect storm. It means then the infrastructure is being legally and structurally prepared before the traditional system experiences heavy turbulence. This gives digital financial infrastructure the exact window it needs to step in as a secure, pre-approved alternative when things get rough. Right? So, why are the institutional giants trying to manipulate the price right now? All right. One of the most important takeaways from this discussion involves institutional behavior during the earlier phases of adoption. A major concern among retail holders is whether XRP can sustain long-term price stability or if it will always be highly volatile. According to the insights shared on X, market manipulation, let's just highlight these keywords. Market manipulation is highly likely to continue during this current transition phase. And the question is why? It's because large institutional participants want to accumulate as many assets as possible as at the lowest price at the lowest possible prices before broader global adoption locks the valuation in. They want the retail market to panic sell. The reality is that once XRP reaches a sufficiently high volume and establishes a stable base price through real utility, downward volatility will decrease significantly. Once the banks are fully using it, the days of wild double-digit drops will be gone, reinforcing the asset's role as a stable global settlement tool. Right? So, What is the $250,000 lesson every XRP holder must learn? Let's just highlight this amount. Despite these mind-boggling price targets, the post on X concludes with a massive warning about risk management and greed. Having an incredibly bullish target does not mean you should hold blindly without a plan. The analyst shared a personal, raw example from a previous market cycle, admitting to leaving approximately $250,000 in unrealized gains on the table because they let excessive optimism dictate their strategy. Greed-driven decisions are the number one killer of crypto portfolios. So if you want to end up as millionaire or a billionaire, you cannot become overly attached to your bags without realizing actual gains along the way. A disciplined trading approach focused on structured exits at different price levels is mandatory. You must remain practical, continuously evaluate macroeconomic conditions, and remember that paper gains don't pay the bills until you execute your profit-taking plan. Enjoy the massive potential, stay grounded in the data, and make sure you have a strategy ready for when the global shift occurs. Alright, and this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching.